So now, and here's something else, man. You understand? And this is what kills me. They always try talking about where's Brazil on your chart. Well, it's right in between Colombia to Uruguay. All you needed was a map to see Venezuela, Peru, Bolivia, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay. This is where the tribes is at. You understand? But right now we're talking about Napthali. You understand? So we're talking about Chile to Argentina. So now Napthali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words. Y'all ever see a deer just run free? You understand how wild they are? That's like them running up and down that soccer field. Well, let me talk to you about some good words as well. Next slide. How many of you are familiar with Galvarano? Nobody? Galvarano was a Mapuche from Chile, right? And what happened is that, you see this? He went and bucked up against the Spaniards. So they turned around and they chopped off one of his arms. He said, yeah, take my other one too. Yo, we so stubborn, ain't we? It's crazy. Next slide. Well, he had some goodly words, and he went back and he waged a war council. And in that war council, yo, Akia, you see this? Even though he had nubs, you understand, this is a hind let loose. He strapped blades to his arms and went and fought the Spanish. Gangster. Next slide. So now, well, is there anything else for Chile? Let's find out. The Reverend W.M. Smith, a Presbyterian minister among the Indians who had finished translating the New Testament in the Mohegan language. Mind you, Mohegan language, the Mohegans are the Creeks. The Creeks are the Seminoles. So once again, what was Reuben speaking inside of South America? Speaking Hebrew. So now when they migrated up north, they were still speaking Hebrew. So when they started studying the Mohegan language, he told the writer for years and labored to make the paradigm of the Mohegan verb. At length, it struck me that it was cast in the Hebrew mold, and I made this one, which I will show you. It was printed on a large sheet. Any Hebrew scholar would once recognize the suffixes and affixes of the Hebrew Bible. At the time the writer heard this, Mr. Smith was in Albany superintending the publication of the Mohegan Testament. Several years before that, the writer had seen the grammar of the Chilean language, and the verb was cast in that Hebrew mold. So now we start to see that we're finding Hebrew artifacts in the Caribbean. We're starting to see that from Guatemala to Panama, they're speaking Hebrew, keeping the Sabbath. And then when we come back down to South America and Argentina and Chile, they're speaking Hebrew as well. Don't tell me, man. Don't tell me a goddamn thing. So now, it says, very true, but let it be remembered on our side that Hebrew immigrants had been in America 500 years before Christ. And of course, the Mexicans are descendants of the Hebrews. If that be true, then the Chileans are. Because every time they compared the Chilean culture to Mexican culture, it was identical. You understand? So now it also starts to say, and this is another thing for anybody who tries to talk about the Lashon Kodash. When they started to talk about the language in Mexico, they told the writer that the language of the Mexicans was a very jingling language, a great many consonants and few vowels. I should just drop this mic and walk out right now. Give me the next slide.